Monks don't need magic swords or demonic pacts. They fight with balance, booze, and sheer spiritual kung fu. But where does their power really come from? Pandaria's mists, the August Celestials, or just really good ale? My name's Will, and today we're tapping the keg on Azeroth's most zen warriors. So monks harness chi, the life energy flowing through all living things. Now we'll start where we always do. According to Wowpedia, it's not just Pandaren mumbo jumbo, it's tied to Azeroth's spiritual ley lines. Think of it like arcane, but organic. No spells, just flow. Actually much closer to the powers of the shamans, monks channel similar energy through different means. Now, there are many roads to get to monk enlightenment, but the August Celestials taught a group of mortals, the Pandas, how to wield it themselves. But here's the thing, chi responds to emotion, which is why Brewmasters will chill out and fight drunk, whilst Windwalkers will split into 3 feisty elemental clones. Chi is infinitely renewable, but only while you maintain peace in your mind, and that is achieved uniquely through everyone. You find your peace and inevitably your fight style. If you can't, things go bad, and the Shah proved that. They are manifestations of negative energy that corrupt your chi. During Mists of Pandaria, the Pandaren had to learn balance after centuries of secrecy. And let's not forget the Jinyu and the Hosen. They actually use chi too, just very differently. Hosen brew basically swamp water, and the water spirits the Jinyu channel is actually a hybrid monk-shaman concept. The bottom line is monks don't steal power like warlocks, or channel it like paladins, they cultivate it. And sometimes that means drinking your way to enlightenment. So you want to become a monk. It's not about memorizing spells, it's about discipline and fermentation. But Pandaren start young, training in temples like the Peak of Serenity. Their mantra, slow down and focus. The drinking comes later. Even non-Pandaren monks, like humans or trolls, have to adapt. I mean, imagine being a dwarf and trying to meditate sober. And speaking of brew, of course Brewmasters don't just drink for fun. Their alchemy transforms ale into combat fuel. In Legion, the Brewmaster artifact Fuzan was a walking keg blessed by the Monkey King. And yes, that is canon, it's named the Wanderer's Companion for a reason. But the hardest lesson is balance. The Shadowpan police Pandaria's secrets, and their trials break monks who can't control their emotions, because if you lose your cool, you will summon a Shah. Now, in previous episodes, I've tied certain factions, covens, or even orders to the classes, but monks are a prominent lifestyle that only reared its head to us in the MMO through Pandaria. Now, the Pandaren and monk culture are heavily intertwined and embedded, which is why the lore reason we can have Pandaren shamans, they are connected. As well as the wandering and teaching natures of the Pandaren is why we have so many monk accessible races. The way our player characters learn to be monks is through the August Celestials, which is obviously taught through the Pandaren in each of our starting areas. However, there are other ways to reach the same enlightenment and channel the same energy. I will talk about that later on in the video. First, we'll stagger through the abilities that define monks, and actually the quite surprising lore behind them. So, Touch of Death. This is a one-shot punch, or well, it used to be before it was updated. It isn't just hit hard, It's channeling chi to rupture an enemy's life force. Now lore-wise, it's forbidden by the Shadow Pan, but of course player monks, our rules are optional. You also have Storm, Earth and Fire, where you split into 3 elemental clones. Not just gameplay, it's peak Windwalker philosophy. Each clone embodies a celestial: the tiger, the ox and the crane. And of course you have the monks' movement abilities. Monks don't walk, they flow. These moves are directly inspired by Pandaren cloud serpents, who taught mortals to ride the wind. And finally, spinning crane kick. That whirl of kicks, it's not just fancy showboating. It's a meditative dance meant to disorient evil spirits. Also, it looks cool. And now, monks have been around since vanilla. They may not have been the August Celestial teachings, but they are all monks nonetheless. From Scarlet monks to Crimson monks, all the way to Okanai monks in Outlands. Now, Worgens were gonna be monks on release, before Blizzard chose to give it to the original races. There was a long debate of whether they would actually be fit to wield the monk abilities, since their werewolf form is an embodiment of pure rage. But after a little more research, it seems Blizzard has disregarded that, as in patch 10 you can now play as one. My assumption is, lore-wise, through Gen, they learned to channel their werewolf form a little better and can achieve inner peace. But previously, in order to be one, you'd take your monk to Old Karazhan, search for the Torment of the Worgen book on the ground beneath the Curator and the Shade of Iran, and you would use it to unleash your Worgen monk potential. Of course, now you can't just roll one. But during their inception, there was also many debates on how monks would heal. Now, there are 4 Celestials, right? But a monk's fighting style typically can only channel 1. For example, Brewmasters channel the Ox, Windwalkers channel Zwen, and Mistweavers originally planned to channel the Crane, but Blizzard felt the green mists of Yu'lon, the Jade Serpent, was a better decision. There were even plans to bring in a monk form, embodying the spirit of the serpent in some kind of healing cooldown, which would have been really cool to see. Monks draw power from Harmony, Hearty Beer, and the Heart of Azeroth itself. But what about those who wield shadow and daggers? Next time we'll ask, where do rogues get their power? Spoiler, it involves less meditation and much more stabbing. The druid and shaman videos are going to be pretty big, and while I'm also planning to do a couple of time sensitive videos on actually the new server project Epoch, I'm sure many of you have heard of it, I'd like to save them for after. But please do like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. I post twice a week, and tell me which class's power you'd like to see as well. I will eventually get through all of them, and maybe one day start tackling some of the raid bosses and just some outer factions that we get to see in game. But thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate every single one of you. I absolutely love making these. It's so much fun. But please do have a lovely day.